Maria Josefa Gabriela's story is one that dismantles the idea that women are only victims of war. She rose to become the very first female leader of the Philippine Revolution. Over 300 armed revolts led by Filipinos rose against the Spanish regime, and Gabriela Silang led one of those armies after her husband, resistance leader Diego Silang, was assassinated.
After Diego was assassinated, Gabriela vowed to avenge his death, and to continue the struggle. She was in great affliction, but had no time to lose. The rebels lost hope after the death of their leader. None of the men stepped up to be the new face of the rebellion. So Gabriela did something very heroic, and took her husband's place as the leader of the rebellion. She greatly armed herself and informed the people that the struggle was far from over. She soon gained more followers. Gabriela began to assist people living in other cities. The people began to call her Generala, which meant woman general, and were gratified that Diego's fighting spirit was continued with Gabriela. Gabriela Silang's undaunted determination, along with her skill and strength, is what the people of the Philippines will never forget, and why she is regarded as the pioneering female bayani. Today, her courageous leadership became a symbol for the importance of women in Filipino society and their struggle for liberation during colonization.
Si Apolinario Mabini Maranan, kilala bilang ang Dakilang Lumpo o Dakilang Paralitiko. Siya ay isang Pilipinong teorista na nagsulat ng konstitusyon ng unang republika ng Pilipinas noong 1899-1902 at naglingkod bilang ang kauna-unahang punong ministro noong 19,000 na makikita sa 10 pisong barya na issue ng Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. Ipinanganak siya sa Talaga, Talaunan, Batangas sa hihirap na mga magulang na sina Inocencio Mabini at Dionisio Maranan. Siya ay natuto ng abakada mula sa kanyang ina at ang pagsulat ay sa kanyang ingkong natutunan. Nag-aral siya sa mataas na paaralan at nagpatuloy sa Kolehiyo de San Juan de Letran na kung saan natamo ang katibayan sa pagka-bachelor in artist at naging professor sa Latin. Sa Universidad ng Santo Tomas naman siya nakapagtapos ng pagkaabogado noong 1894. Samantalang nag-aral ng batas, sumapi siya sa La Liga Filipina ni Jose Rizal. Si Mabini ay nagkasakit noong 1896 ng paralysis ng bata na lumpo sa kanya. Ipinasundo siya ni Aguinaldo at sila'y nagkamabutihan. Siya'y lihim na ipinatawag ni Aguinaldo at hinirang siyang opisyal na tagapayo. Nang pasinayahan ni Aguinaldo ang pamahalaang republika, inatasan niya si Mabini bilang kalihim, panglabas at pangulo ng mga konseho. Sa panahong ito, isinulat niya ang kanyang tanyag ng tunay na dekalogo. Noong 1899, si Mabini ay nabilanggo sa Nueva Ecija. Kanyang isinulat noon ang pagbangon at pagbagsak ng himagsikang Pilipino, El Simil de Alejandro at El Libra noong ika-5 ng Enero 1901 sa Mabini ay ipinatapon sa Guam. Ngunit kusa siyang nagbalik sa bansa noong Pebrero 1903 kapalit ng panunumpa ng katapatan sa Estados Unidos. Siya ay nagkasakit ng kolera at namatay noong ika-30 ng Mayo 1903 sa Nagtahan, Maynila.
General Antonio Luna in 1866 to 1899, the greatest general of the Revolution, younger brother of Juan Luna, the famous painter, editor of La Independencia, whose first issue came out on September 3, 1898, born in Binondo, Manila on October 29, 1866. He was one of the propagandists in Spain who were working for political reforms in the Philippines. He contributed articles to La Solidaridad. He was assassinated in Cabanatuan City on June 5, 1899. Antonio was a gifted student who studied with a teacher called Maestro Intong from the age of 6 and received a Bachelor of Arts from the Ateneo Municipal de Manila in 1881 before continuing his studies in chemistry, music, and literature at the University of Santo Tomas. As the Spanish-American War came to a close and the defeated Spanish prepared to withdraw from the Philippines, Filipino revolutionary troops surrounded the capital city of Manila. The newly arrived officer Antonio Luna urged the other commanders to send troops into the city to ensure a joint occupation when the Americans arrived, but Emilio Aguinaldo refused, believing U.S. naval officers stationed in Manila Bay would hand over power to the Filipinos in due course. General Luna led 3 companies of soldiers to attack the Americans of La Luma, where he was met with a ground force and naval artillery fire from the fleet in Manila Bay. The Filipinos suffered heavy casualties. Filipino counterattacked on February 23, gained some ground but collapsed when troops from Cavite refused to take orders from General Luna, stating that they would obey only Aguinaldo himself. Furious, Luna disarmed the recalcitrant soldiers but was forced to fall back. In Spain, he became one of the Filipino expatriates who mounted the propaganda movement en route for La Solidaridad headed by Gallicano Apacible. He wrote a piece titled Impressions in which dealt with Spanish customs and idiosyncrasies under the pen name Taga-Ilog. Also, like many of the Filipino liberals in Spain, Luna joined the Masonry where he rose to being Master Mason. He and his brother Juan also opened the Sala de Armas, a fencing club in Manila, when he learned of the underground societies that were planning a revolution and was asked to join. He scoffed at the idea and turned down the offer. Like other Filipino emigrants involved in the reform, beside affecting their property, the proponents of the reform movement saw that no revolution would succeed without the necessary preparation.